A much-needed off day for the World Series champs. Yesterday, they will return to action tonight with Dane Dunning, my guy, on the mound against the Seattle Mariners in Arlington. 6:30 pregame, first pitch at 7 o'clock. And we are, in case you did not know, the place where you can hear every single Texas Ranger game, along with my main man, Jared Sandler, Bruce Bochy, Chris Young as well. That is 105.3 The Fan. Bobby, let's talk about the profile done on the psycho Corey Seager.
And he is apparently a baseball psycho. This is from the brilliant mind and beautiful pen of Jeff Passan at ESPN. Is there a better baseball writer than Jeff Passan, RJ Choppy?
Man, he's quite tremendous. He doesn't write text very well.
There's definitely better texters.
To people who
Weirdo.
actually text back.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to get approval to text back, you know? Now, Corey Seager, when we think of his
If I ever
swing.
see him at Hurtado again there at the park, I'll take a beef rib and shove it right up his throat.
Wow. Which end?
Beef ribs and tree branches. Goodness. So, Sean, when we think of beautiful swings across this, does Corey Seager...
No.
Like, you don't think of Seager's swing as similar to, like...
I never... As what? Don't... I want to hear the name you say.
No, I'm not going to say Griffey. Okay.
Or Palmeiro.
But no, like in terms of, like, how we always have, like, the standard, like, that's the prettiest swing in baseball. Do we think of, like, right now that because I do think Seager's swing is pretty.
I've never thought of it. I don't
pretty.
get time to watch it because he's swinging it every first pitch.
It's a good swing. I don't think it's...
Isn't it like short, compact,
It's very
quick?
short and compact. It's a swing you want to teach.
It's smooth,
It's a swing you would definitely absolutely teach because he does a lot of things right with the swing. That's a good... I don't know that there is a particularly...
Yeah, who's got the
pretty
smoothest swings in
swing.
Major League Baseball today?
Because, if you look past, the last 15 years, people would point to Cano's swing was really, really pretty. Obviously, Griffey's swing was pretty. Palmeiro had his pretty swing. It's always a lefty. It's always a lefty.
Hamilton.
Yeah, Rafi looked like he did. Josh's swing was pretty.
It was pretty. It was
long.
It was more the thing that's different about his versus the other guys I mentioned is his was powerful. The other guys were smooth.
Josh
it almost looked like it was in slow motion when you saw Griffey swing.
Yeah, Josh would whip the batter.
Yeah,
Like
Palmeiro was like slow motion swing.
Yeah, Rafi like literally looked like he didn't care almost.
Yeah.
That's how. Like, I mean, he would. I always remember when you see him swing through. He almost just kind of like slumped his hand down after he swung through, just like he dropped the bat. Like it was just so effortless for him. Well, Corey Seager has the prettiest swing in baseball, according to Jeff Passan. Jeff Passan writes this. He says, the baseball swing is a puzzle, an ever-changing riddle. Even for the best hitters in the world, the fragility of the swing is palpable. Every minuscule detail matters. Batters are not machines built to replace the same action countless times before they are replaced. They are human beings aiming to be their most machine-like and grappling with the defect of the endeavor. Boy, that's a little overly wordy there, Jeff. Perhaps the best representation of this duality belongs to Corey Seager, the shortstop for the reigning World Series champion Texas Rangers. Seager obsesses over his swing. I love the process, he says. You have to enjoy it to be able to do this, right? Now in his 10th Major League season, Seager has grown into one of the game's finest hitters, as much because of the time he spends fine-tuning his swing as the inherent ability packed into his 6'4", 215-pound frame. So they talk about how his process of how he goes through like tweaking his swing and tweaking his mechanics. And we've heard before, Corey Seager's kind of a little bit of a loner.
ISO. Yeah, loner.
He's an isolation guy. Like when we hear Micah Parsons like just works off on his own to he's got his own process and everything like that. Like that's a reality here for Corey Seager.
And the reality is also like what winning and losing does to that perception, because early on I heard, Seager, he's not in there sharing the knowledge. They paid him to be a leader with Simeon, and they're not getting that. They're not getting that leadership in those two. He does his own individual hitting study, right? And then when you win and you're the World Series MVP, you're a scientist.
You are.
You're breaking it down. You're a mad scientist.
You're a tortured artist. You need to be alone. That's what it is.
Yes.
You go from torturing the organization to being a tortured artist.
Yes.
But it says before every at bat, Seager finds a mirror. At Globe Life Field, he heads for the one next to the batting cage or in the weight room. At the other 29 stadiums around Major League Baseball, Seager knows exactly where he can locate one because it's every bit as important to him as the bat he's going to use at the plate. When Seager stares into the looking glass, he sees angles. It's less about mathematics than about comparing the mental snapshot of his most idealized batting stance to how closely he is reproducing it in that particular moment. This varies by the day, even the at-bat. For Seager to be who he aspires to be, the best version of himself, which consequently would be the best hitter on the planet, he must constantly tweak and contort his limbs into the proper angles to put himself in an ideal position to punish the baseball. The mirror is Seager's muse. He stares at himself with clarity, both literal. He's got 20/12 and a half vision, 20/12.5. I didn't know that was a thing. Is that a thing? 2020.
I know 2010. I know 2010 is like super low line.
Literal and figurative, the latter born of thousands of hours of studying the angles and knowing himself better than any opponent hunting for a weakness ever could. Seager says, even with good vision, if you're in a bad spot, you're not going to be able to dictate your at-bat how I would prefer to. So I've learned that it always comes back to how I move. Seager's main mirror sits in the hallway of Globe Life. A piece of white tape adorns its top frame. Written on the tape is a message. I'm here to help you look good and move good. Please don't break me.
What?
Rangers hitters retreat from the dugout to partake of it, none with quite the reverence of Seager. The mirror, he says, does not lie. This kind of single-minded focus has helped him ascend to the highest rung of one of the game's most successful families. And then it goes through the Seager lineage. Of course, his brother, Kyle Seager, who for years played with the Mariners. But this is, when we hear the psycho, like, loader behavior, like, it does seem to make a little bit more sense why he has the loner approach. If he's that, like...
He said it helps me in my profession to be OCD.
You know, when we talk about Scherzer, like, we've heard people say that Scherzer on game days is like, yeah, you can't really, don't talk to him, don't look at him. Like, it sounds like every game is that for Seager.
Yeah, well, if you heard Scherzer mic'd up the other week, don't talk to him on non-game day starts either because he was not interested. But yeah, Seager, this is like the only subject matter where I think you could get him to talk. Like
talk technical
aspect of hitting. Talk technical aspects. He does not want to. He does not want to do media.
It's funny. We had always, like, I realized, and I know you guys were in a different position for what you did, but during the press conferences with Garrett, like, you realized if you want a good answer from Garrett, it's the same thing of, like, getting a good answer out of Belichick. It's like, ask him about something that allows him to, like, get into the thing he's obsessed with, which is football, technical aspects of it, things like that. So if you were to ask, I remember Garrett, one of the longest answers he ever gave us at a press conference,
when he had a Buddhist monk friend,
was when Machota asked him something like, what's the key to running a good rub route? Because he was writing some article and he was, like, curious about, he'd gotten some stuff from the locker room, and Garrett started going to all this, like, the stuff he would say to a rookie when coaching them, and he started, like, using his hands and saying, yeah, you do this, you got to run here, look, you know, it's about pace and space and doing this and blah, blah, blah. And it's just, you get them on that subject matter that they're really passionate about. We've all known people like that who are quiet or, like, you know, kind of keep to themselves. And like, boy, they're not very social. And then you find the one thing that they're really passionate about and it clicks. And this is the thing where he's really passionate about this and really obsessive about it.
Here's Corey's agent, Jared Sandler. Best story written on Corey that I've read, most accurate. Just to make it clear, he's not a loner amongst his teammates socially. He just doesn't go through a standard pregame hitting prep program. He does his own thing there.
And he's not alone across the sport. Now, there are plenty of guys who do their own thing. You get ready.
Ask Shohei.
Yeah, you get ready how you get ready.
Shohei doesn't do it alone.
Yeah,
that's true. He does have an accomplice. Yeah, he has a fall guy.
Well, he'll make a call first, place a couple of bets, and then he'll go back and do it. I found a quick list.
Feds found him innocent.
Best swings in the sport. Shohei was at number 10, actually.
I wouldn't bet on that.
Tatis at 8, Trout at 7, JD Martinez, Arenado, Jordan. Jordan's got a sweet one.
Yeah, Jordan's is pretty.
Buxton, Mookie Betts. Those were the guys on it.
Do your kids emulate anyone or care?
They don't care. They'll try.
Man, it feels like copying the batting stance is a dead thing. That depressed me when we had on
Josh Smith. He said nobody. Yeah.
Nobody.
Who was yours?
I would just change
all the time.
But because you always emulate a few. But like wiffle ball, the one for me always was Will Clark. I loved the Will Clark.
I would try the wrap
wiggle.
I would try Sheffield, Bonds. You try Griffey, the toe tap from Palmeiro, Ripken.
Yeah.
I mean,
which one?
Exactly. Growing up 90 minutes from Ripken, it was one every other week.
Yeah, so like I think the problem is kids now, at least my kids, they spend so much time on YouTube watching hitting and videos. They all try to now have the same swing. Like
they're becoming Corey Seager.
Yeah, no, they all the kids have of almost identical swings. Nobody has a unique batting stance. There's very rarely a unique pitching motion. Everything's very cookie cutter. They're all listening to that one dope who gives hitting instructions in jeans. He calls him.
Is that really a guy?
His name is Teacher Man.
Teacher Man?
Teacher
We
Man.
went from Tom Amansky to Teacher Man?
Teacher Man, and his whole thing is,
Son of a teacher man.
Get Jeff Fry on and have Jeff Fry just go to town on this guy. Can't stand him. I think he's in his head. Every Instagram post is about this guy and how wrong he is. But the guy's claim to fame is like he was Aaron Judge's hitting instructor for like one day. And Judge took some things, and it's just about dropping the back shoulder. And I don't know, Bassick would come in here and just completely eviscerate the guy. But every kid tries to emulate him. Like they all try to emulate this one old dude who's got a good Instagram, TikTok account.
Seager said the whole question of would you rather know what's coming or have the perfect swing? I'm picking the perfect swing every single time. Anything else jump out from this, Bob?
No, just like I said, I think it is a dense article. There's a lot in here, but
Passan wrote it.
Yeah. And that's why he doesn't have time to text you back. He's too busy grinding, man. He's grinding away, typing up these words. But it's one of those where I think it feels like we know so little about Seager, like relative to other stars that we've had in DFW, just because of, I guess, his personality type and the way that he works and everything else. But it's a really good look, I think, at like technically what makes him obsessive and what makes him so damn good. And I mean, it definitely gives me a different perspective on watching him work. And we say that because Seager has a little bit of it too. Like when we talk about the almost lazy looking swing of Rafael Palmeiro, and not that it's lazy, it's just that's easy to him. It almost looks that way to Seager too. Like Seager just looks like it's nothing to him. It looks so natural, and like from this, it shows you that it's not just natural. It's a ton of technical study and really, really hard work to replicate it.
And I'm always fascinated by the mindset of the first pitch swing, because I'm like, you wait forever to get up there, and you're like, okay, you want to like enjoy your at bat. You know what I mean? It's like enjoying your meal or not. And it's like, no, as soon as this is the pitch and that's it. And like, you're ready to go right from the very beginning versus like, take a pitch, read a pitch. And
the philosophy.
And if you get out on that first pitch, you're like, okay, like I went up there for one pitch and I have to sit around and just wait until my next opportunity versus like trying to get some time out of the at bats.
I will say the one thing that it's coupled with what John Smoltz told us on Thursday.
That the Rangers suck?
Yeah, I mean, he told us that over and over again. But, like, the idea that when he told us, he said a lot of people would be stunned to find out there's, like, 5 guys on every team that actually want the moment. Like out of everybody in that ballpark, there's only 5 guys that actually want to be in that high-pressure situation. Most of the guys don't want to be at bat, don't want to be on the mound. The impression I get here is, like, Seager absolutely wants to be one of those guys up at the plate.